Good evening. The chairman of HM Revenue and Customs has apologised for the treatment of taxpayers after the service was attacked by a committee of MPs. Mike Clasper said, "We are not happy with our performance in 2010. The Treasury Select Committee and dissatisfaction risked undermining public confidence in the tax system. The worst problems were in getting tax officers to answer phone calls at peak times and endemic delays in replying to letters." Mr. Clasper told BBC Radio 5 Live it simply wasn't good enough on post and telephone, and I'd like to take the opportunity to apologise to the people who had to take a long time to get through or didn't get back to them quick enough with the post. HMRC says it recruited 1,000 extra contact centre advisors to handle calls during exceptionally busy periods. Libya's government has taunted the UK over the death of rebel military commander General Abdel Fattah Younes. It has been claimed the former Libyan government minister was shot by an Islamist militant linked to the rebels. A Libyan government spokesman said that the incident showed the UK government had made a mistake by recognising the rebel council as the sole authority in Libya. He said it was a nice slap to the face of the British that the rebels were unable to protect their army chief. On Saturday, the rebels' oil minister Ali Torhamouni told reporters in Benghazi that a leader of the Obil al-Ain Jarrah brigade had provided information on the circumstances of Gen Younes' death, but he did not provide a motive for the killing, which he said was still being investigated. On Wednesday, UK Foreign Secretary William Hague said that the UK would recognise the Libyan National Transitional Council of the rebels as the sole governmental authority, as it expelled Gaddafi regime diplomats from the UK. General Younes and 2 aides were killed by gunmen after being recalled from the front line of fighting. Hundreds of mourners carried a coffin containing the general's body in Benghazi's main square on Friday. Muammar Gaddafi's government in Tripoli said the killing was proof the rebels were not capable of ruling Libya. The Labour Party has published a list of the shadow cabinet's meetings with the media. Ed Miliband had already published a list of his meetings with the newspaper proprietors and editors since he became Labour Party leader in September 2010. The new details come after documents released earlier this week disclosed meetings with cabinet ministers. Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls met Rebecca Brooks and Will Lewis from News International in February. He also met the former News of the World editor Colin Myler at the Labour Party conference in Manchester last September and attended a News International reception at the conference. Mr. Balls met Mr. Myler again in March and June and attended a News International reception as recently as the 16th of June. The Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper attended that same reception and the one at the party conference. She also met Mr. Myler in September. Shadow Cabinet Office Minister and Minister of the Olympics Tessa Jowell met Rupert Murdoch's daughter Elizabeth socially in London and Oxfordshire several times over Christmas 2010. Rebecca Brooks was also at the 2 of these gatherings. A father who escaped a deliberate house fire which killed his 2 children has died in hospital. Thomas Sharkey Sr., 55, died 6 days after Thomas Jr., 21, and his sister Bridget, 8. The flat fire broke out in Helensburgh in Dunbartonshire early last Sunday. More than 50 police officers are investigating what is now being treated as a triple murder inquiry. Thomas Sr., 55, and his wife Angela, 46, were both taken to hospital. Mr. Sharkey died at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Saturday morning. He had initially been unaware of the deaths of his children, but that his condition improved enough for him to be informed on Tuesday. The fire at the Sharkey family home in Helensburgh's Scott court broke out about 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Thomas Sharkey Jr. died in the blaze, whilst his sister Bridget died later in hospital. In a statement, Mrs. Sharkey's sister said that the family had been left shattered, devastated and angry. Strathclyde police have set up an incident room, dedicated phone line and email address for the murder inquiry. A man whose son died after playing video games for long periods is campaigning for greater awareness of the risk posed by their excessive use. Chris Staniforth, 20, who would play his console for up to 12 hours, died in May from deep vein thrombosis (DVT). His father David believes the condition may have been triggered by long gaming sessions. DVT can form during long periods of immobility and can kill if the clots travel to the lungs. Computer records showed his son would sometimes play online on his Xbox for periods of up to 12 hours. The coroner said a clot formed in Chris's left calf before moving to his lungs. Once there, it caused a fatal blockage known as a pulmonary embolism. Mr. Staniforth said, after my research, I saw there was no difference to Chris sitting at a desk on his Xbox and someone on a long-haul flight. Sitting still is literally the danger zone. Chris loved to play and would stay up all night. Millions of people worldwide are playing these games for hours, and there is a risk. While Mr. Staniforth has no problem with the games consoles, he wants to highlight the heightened risk of DVT associated with being immobile, and is in the process of setting up a website. In a statement, Microsoft, who manufacture the Xbox console, said, "We have always encouraged responsible gameplay through our education campaigns such as Play Smart, Play Safe. We recommend that gamers take periodic breaks to exercise as well as make time for other pursuits." And finally, the Queen's granddaughter Zara Phillips has married England rugby player Mike Tindall at a ceremony in Edinburgh. The Queen and Duke of Edinburgh were among those at the wedding in Canongate Kirk on a Sunday Royal Mile. Hundreds of well-wishers lined the streets for Scotland's first royal wedding in almost 20 years. Prince Charles and Camilla, Prince William and Catherine, and Prince Harry were also attending the ceremony and reception at Holyrood House. The Reverend Neil Gardner welcomed guests up the Royal Mile, including the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh. The bride's dress in an ivory silk and satin gown was designed by Stuart Parvin, one of the Queen's favourite courtiers. This was accompanied by a veil, tiara and Jimmy Choo shoes. The doors of the Canongate Kirk were closed to the press and public, but hundreds of well-wishers gathered in Edinburgh's Old Town to watch the arrival and departure of the royal family. And that's tonight's late news from me and the weekend team here. Good night. Good evening. It's rather warm in here tonight in the studios. A warm and muggy night is expected for all of us this evening and overnight. But warm and cloudy with rain in the west tomorrow, I'm afraid. That's for northern parts of Ireland and Scotland in particular, where you will find the rain here. So for tonight you will find cloudy intervals across eastern parts and southeastern parts of England. Some mist or fog may develop also in the southwest of the regions, but here it is going to stay the most warmest, and then in Scotland and eastern areas it will be second most warmest tonight. Over to the west the cloud will be more broken up, or it will be a little bit cooler here, but still double figures. So for tomorrow you will find the rain in the western areas, cloudier in eastern areas, and then across the south and perhaps parts of northwest England it will stay with some sunny spells here. Maximum temperature 23 tomorrow, which is a little bit under what we should expect for the time of year. Monday, pretty much the same again. Rain clearing through overnight on Sunday, so Monday just leaves cloudy skies with a top temperature of 24. Hardly any sunshine peeping through, maybe across the south coast, but you won't see much in the way of it, I'm afraid. So, looking through the new month, sunny intervals found from Tuesday and Wednesday and even into Thursday, but expect a chance of a shower or perhaps even a thunderstorm in the afternoon on Thursday. Winds again picking up through the week, temperatures dipping slightly on Thursday, but the maximum temperature you will find on Wednesday in London is 27 degrees. I hope you enjoy your start to your new month. Good night.